First of all, it's great to be speaking to four such well-qualified candidates. In light of the 2012 Olympic Games, the country's experienced a huge rise in participation in sport. A subsequent study conducted by the Conservative government has shown that there's a positive correlation between sport and performance in education. What sort of things that would you put in place that would both promote education and sport as one sort of central coherent thing?
Thank you.
Cheers, thank you very much. Thank you for such a wonderful question. Rock Up Sports Club. I believe this is something you're saying that the correlation is extremely positive. Well, there's a lot of people that don't do sport at all. Rock Up Sports Club is a way to get those people that don't do any kind of sport to come along for a free session to something they might hate it, but then again they might enjoy it and get involved and stick at it. Okay, that's something.
Point of information.
Yes.
Watson, you did say in your last speech that you would actually reduce the number of Rock Up sports sessions from 4 a month to 1 a month.
Correction. I said I would not have Rock Up sports sessions every single week. We've had 5 Rock Up sports sessions this year. I would just have it more spread out and hammer the promotion. Thank you. Okay, so I think they're really, really important to get people involved. Also, our Wednesday afternoons. If no classes are scheduled on a Wednesday afternoon, it shows the importance of sport within education. It shows that it's not coming. It's not a sort of byproduct that comes with it. It's really in the programme and it's right in there, as well as your classes having that time there. Cheers.
I think it's a really good point, that a lot of people overlook is the fact that, people think, I'll go to university, I'll maybe do a part-time job, and that's going to be it. I mean, Wednesday afternoons, although James was saying that we don't get a lot of classes do go over into Wednesday afternoons, a lot of classes don't, yet people will leave at, say, 11 o'clock and just go straight home. And I think, as Vice President of Sport and Wellbeing, it would just be to encourage people, no matter what they're doing, as long as it's exercise, even if it's just going to the gym. You're talking, obviously you're in charge of the clubs, but you've also got to promote well-being, and there's been talk on the sports union kind of 3-year plan of amalgamating a sports union membership and a gym membership, and I think that would both help increase the participation in sport at Strathclyde, and also it would increase sort of people just deciding to do sport on a Wednesday afternoon or just whenever they want. And I think that's kind of the main thing, is just really increasing awareness in terms of the sport and the positive correlation between sport and academic performance.
Well, in terms of sport and education, I think it's hugely important. The guys have been saying that we've got our Wednesday afternoons free, and that shows the importance of sport to the university and how much of an impact sport can have on people. And I just think that sports sometimes tends to be overlooked in terms of the other benefits that it can have. If you're, especially sport and physical activity, because I've talked about the mental health benefits of physical activity, especially when you're coming to things like you're coming to exam time, assignment deadlines. You get stressed, you get anxious, you get down a bit about how you're going to cope with all this. Just physical activity, the benefits of it are researched and documented that they can decrease depression, decrease anxiety, that sort of thing. And I would look to be promoting not just competitive sports, joining a sports club with all the benefits that come with that, but just recreational sport. As a guys, we've talked about Rusk, and as I said, I would like to increase it, maybe have it in both semesters. But just other chances to come and do recreational sport in your own time, but just promote how doing sport, physical activity, going out a run, it can actually free you up and just make you feel a bit better, and decrease anxiety, decrease depression, increase quality of life. And I think we need to promote that more to let people know this sort of thing can help, especially around the exam times. Thank you.
As most of you know, sport decreases stress, improves social skills, its mental health benefits, and all these things come into having good education. Okay, if you're in a relaxed state of mind, if you're focused, then you're going to study better and you're going to get better grades. having these opportunities to actually participate in sport is extremely important for a student. Okay, what you have to do is make sure that these opportunities are correctly advertised. I know that the CSR runs lots of social badminton. There's actually times during the day where you can just go in and book a court and play badminton. Badminton is one of those, a great example of a sport. It just needs to be you and a mate and a net and 2 rackets and a shuttlecock. That's it. That's all you need. And all those things are supplied in the CSR. Okay, so those benefits give a benefit to become a better student.
Can I have the go along here?
Am I right in thinking that you have to effectively be either a member of Bucks or SSS to become a member of the sports union? No, you don't. For Bucks, is that the Bucks scoring system? Is that only for clubs and societies? Is that only for sports clubs as part of Bucks?
Yes.
Yes. So what are you going to do for the sports that aren't a member of Bucks? I'm in a sports club that isn't a member of Bucks, but we're in SSS. So how are you going to get it that our sports club could become part of the Bucks rating system?
That's a good question. It's a hard thing to do to make a sport. Is it kendo you're talking about? Yeah. Kendo's kind of it's a minority sport, and actually kind of majoritizing these minority sports and making them actually available to everyone would be as much as a kind of national cause, and it would actually go to the Sports Presidents Forum. And you said you're a triple S?
I think we're part of SSS but not Bucks.
Right, okay. Well, that would need to go to the Bucks and actually make sure that there's a demand for a Bucks championships, and then we go from there and see what university kendo clubs are actually looking to set up a Bucks championships. Focusing on Bucks is not one of my particular priorities. I think if you focus on everything else, the Bucks points come.
I think in terms of how to actually get it to Bucks, James is right. It does take pushing to like further meetings than just us, but that's sort of thing we're looking for. If we've got clubs that are like keen to go forward for Bucks and obviously want to represent the university at a higher level, it's a chance they need to come forward and promote. That's the thing. I mean, was it? I remember at Freshers' Fair, one of the sports I actually do remember is kendo, because they were letting you hit you in the helmet with a big stick, and that's actually. That sort of thing is good for promotion clubs, because people can remember it. I don't remember much about other clubs from Freshers' Fair, but that's one of the things I remember. So it's that sort of thing is getting your club promoted and then pushing it to the sports exec, to the VPSW, and in that position is then when the club's being proactive and saying we want this, then we can take this forward and take it to the higher level to get you into Bucks. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's a good point regarding Bucks, because on the swim team we're part of Triple S, but not Bucks, so I can kind of relate to that. I think entering a Bucks league would, for kind of smaller teams, would be a long-term sort of aim. And as you said, you're part of Triple S. A lot of teams are, and it would be sort of the first stage would be you want to improve your stature within Triple S, and then in future move on to Bucks. Going on minority clubs, I think all of them need to be treated differently. I don't think there's one sort of kind of type all that would work in terms of growing clubs. You've got you've got your kendo, you've got your swimming, and growing one team in one way, you're going to have different techniques for each one. So I think each team has to be looked in a different context. So that's kind of what I've got to say on minority teams.
Hi. The guys were saying about forums. I think that's really important, but one of the things you've got to notice is that I'd like to something more active towards it. So start at the bottom, get it involved in Glasgow Cup. That's something it's the 3 universities. If you can show demand that in the Glasgow Cup you can hold a competition, then you can take that to the next level. if you then look more widespread, we can hold the competition there. You give Bucks these examples of, look, here's what we've been doing, this is how well this is the success it has had, and then you've got a good project to go from there forward to Bucks.
You have Paul Hines at the back.
A study by the Equality Network last year found that 79% of respondents found there was a problem with homophobia or transphobia in Scottish sport, and only 5% thought the problem was being dealt with accurately. I've just asked what you would do to help
that. I think that's a good point, and I think it's something that as a sports president or vice president of sport and wellbeing, you want to be working with the other members that are on the other vice presidents and things on, in terms of your diversity and everything, just in terms of it's not just sport. That's a main issue in sport, but I think it's a general attitude that over the years general attitudes have changed or beginning to change, and I think sort of a strong stance from the full set of vice presidents would be important, in my opinion.
For those of you attending our wonderful Rock Up Sports Club that's been going on, you've been knowing that we're actively getting, at the start of each week, there's a charity coming in and talking about different aspects of for example, homophobia. That's a real great way. If we can increase the participation in that, like I was saying, it's a real good way to then let them know this is what's going on, this is how we're going to change it, and it just sort of embeds it in sport. Also with other teams, committee meetings, things like that. At the start of the year when you're doing your committee training, if you get it ingrained in the committee, they then put that out into the rest of the team, and it can stay, sort of go from generation to generation.
Last May, I think it was, I actually took part in a LGBT in sport workshop, and from that a lot of things were actually revealed to me about sport, and I think sport's one of the last areas where there's still a kind of homophobic, not in Strathclyde certainly, but certainly at a professional level, where there's actually, for example, there's only one openly gay rugby player in the whole world. I think that's definitely something that attitudes are changing, but there's still barriers to break down. The way we can do that is by educating and actually making sure that people are aware that even the LGBT people want to take part in sport. Okay, there's a gay football team they're a gay football team, but they're open to everyone. But their motto is actually to accept everyone for who they are, and actually they could be a good tool within sports at Strathclyde to actually make sure and promote these, and make sure everyone's aware of these things going on.
I think it is a very good point, and as James is saying, there's only one openly gay rugby player, and in terms of football, there was Justin Fastry who was hounded out the game, and there's, in the last year, I think there was a player that came out in Australia and he retired. He took time out of the game because he knew he wouldn't be respected as a person, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. But in terms, I think Andrew was right, we need to work with other people on the exec, especially diversity and people within like LGBT society, because they need like to work with them and get them into, like, to come in and maybe meet with them in the sports union and talk about how we can actually promote them within sport. Andrew's right, it was in Rusk, but that was 1 week, but if we can actually have a meeting with people from LGBT, they can come in and share their ideas for sports, and then if that sort of thing happens early on, we can put it into club committee training for the start of our year, so that it's ingrained within every club in their committee, so that they know these sort of things are going to be happening. Okay, thank you.
Right, I can take one very fast question. Dominique?
Yeah, so this is kind of like of the same vein as Paul's, kind of opening it out to like different groups of students, like sports unions in general. Like, I'm not just saying Strathclyde, but in general, kind of like have this sort of idea around them that they're quite kind of male centred and like focused around like the social aspect a lot and like drinking and going out partying and stuff. So if you're not really into that, or if you're a woman, or if you're disabled, or if you're a mature student, or if you're an international student, sometimes you can't really relate to that, so it feels like quite exclusive. My question is basically like, how would you make the sports union feel more inclusive towards those groups of students, like more diverse range of students?
Right, I'll take 30 seconds each.
That's a great question. It can seem like the sports union is very kind of cliquey, and actually trying to get people involved is a great thing. How I would do that is making sure that, again, participation for all links back into my manifesto point, making sure that everyone knows that they can participate in physical activity no matter their skill level, their age, their sex, their sexual orientation. That doesn't hinder them in any way. Actually, getting that down into club level, that's very committee based, and that needs to be worked on.
I think what needs to be done is just in terms of promoting maybe at the start the non-competitive sport, because that will give people an in to come into sport within the university, and then from there, and I mentioned earlier having socials between clubs, that sort of thing, but even with just inviting people that come to non-competitive events, just bring them along. Obviously, you say it's a lot of the drinking aspect, to have socials. Just in general, we're trying to organise like an intramural rugby competition just for people to come along and try. It's like teams that will be based fairly.
I think it's a good point. And ideally, you want the sports union to be open to anyone, regardless of what level of sport or what kind of sport they wanted to try. And I think from when I was chatting to people about why they didn't do university sport, although as I said in my manifesto, there were a couple of main reasons that stood out. I did hear tons of different ones, and a lot of people think, it's all about the social aspects, or I'm wanting to play at a high level. But I think for example, there's the skydiving team. How many people will have ever skydived before they come to Strathbound? It's a great opportunity to try something new, and just open for beginners as well, like all abilities.
Hi. What I've been doing in the general meeting at Sports Union, we're talking about students coming from abroad. The majority of them stay in halls. That's something that we don't tap into enough, and we really need to target them. Got a lot of publicity there. I'm part of the events committee currently that's organising the rugby festival that's going on. We're looking to have a barbecue at that, so people can come along. They can, no matter what ability they are or who they are, they can come along, play a bit of rugby no matter what level they are, and have a burger or a sausage and have a great day. Cheers.
Alright, well, thanks very much to everyone who's running for sports and wellbeing, and thanks to you all for coming.